And speaking of Boeing, incoming Boeing CEO David Calhoun faces a number of challenges, of course, when he formally takes his post next month. They include the continued crisis caused by those two fatal crashes of Boeing's 737 MAX jetliner, as well as friction with regulators over returning the grounded planes to the skies. New documents reviewed by congressional panel show some, quote, very disturbing revelations regarding the 737 MAX jet, although we don't have the details of them. One of Calhoun's first priorities is mending Boeing's relationship with the FAA. So let's talk a little bit more about that. I mean, it's interesting that he is trying to mend his relationship with the FAA because there's been criticism of the FAA itself. So
yes.
How does Boeing sort of go forward here? This
is going to be difficult. There are questions surrounding the timing of Molenberg's resignation earlier this week, and I think it has to do with these new revelations that are only coming about now. And this is going to take a lot of work to repair this relationship, and also the relationship with the public. These statements that are going to come out, and again, yeah, we don't know the details, but I think these are very damning statements about not only the company, but its relationship with the FAA.
But Calhoun will be able to say that was then, right. This is now going forward. It's going to, when we learn what's in those emails, you're talking about the emails from the chief test pilot at Boeing. They turned over more to not only to the federal investigators, but now the FAA. The FAA not happy that it took so long to get them. At the end of the day, we're expecting the 737 MAX to be back in the air. United is saying maybe June, but we know they're going at it on a month-by-month basis. But Boeing has been in touch with the airlines, preparing for them for the return of the aircraft. It's just the FAA that they're waiting for.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when. But let's make sure we give the caveat. The 737 MAXs that are ready and finished and existed already will eventually go back in the air. But reports that they won't produce any new ones. That production will, for a while it was, production will be halted. Now it sounds like production will be stopped. I mean, this is not going to be an easy CEO job at all. I mean, I remember when Wells took about a year to find a new CEO, and then finally the former CEO of Visa, Charlie Scharf, went over to Wells Fargo, and we were all joking like, that is not a very desirable post right now. Well, Boeing probably less desirable. Now, all that being said, Boeing is not going anywhere, and I think that when we discuss all the problems, and they're extremely important, and the problems are major, and disturbing is the word being used for these messages that are now being reviewed, all that being said, we forget that there are a ton of other Boeing planes that are used all over the world, that Boeing is, in many ways, too big to fail. I mean, its closest competitor, Airbus, is nowhere close in terms of the number of planes that are in use for commercial flights. I just think that, yes, it's going to be a hard path for this new CEO, but look at Boeing stock. I mean, a lot of people thought that it should be down much more than it is. I know it is, it underperformed the S&P by a big margin this year, but man, people thought it would have taken a much bigger hit in 2019. Look at that chart.
I think it is possible, though. It's at least possible that things could still get worse before they get better.
I think so.
Once we get Adam, when you say, well, the new CEO is going to be able to say, well, that was then, this is now, I think that's going to be a hard narrative for him to put forth if they get these emails out, because then that shows where there's systemic issues at Boeing in terms of quality control. Have they really addressed those does changing the CEO really help all down the line that they've already made?
Well, he'll get called before Congress again.
Yeah,
that's going to happen.
And he will say,
Calhoun will say, here's what we took in place when they talk about those emails.
For some criminal culpability as well. I don't think we've seen anything close to the end of this, especially with these latest allegations. I think this company was designed like a bureaucracy so that these messages and this information couldn't rise to the top. And that's why I think there's criminal culpability here. Molenberg's probably going to get clawed back. He got away with something like a $30 million golden parachute. That's going to get clawed back. He'll be lucky if he doesn't go to jail.
Wow.
That's an interesting prediction. We're going to keep you on that one.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.